My thoughts are that it's like, I don't know why a lot of people want to target young women. I guess because we women and they don't think that we're easy to target. I guess that's the situation. I guess that's the issue, because we'll probably be more vulnerable to give up and let go or whatever the case may be.
The search is on this afternoon for the person who, a 30-year-old Chicago woman, found strangled to death in her garage. It was not the first time she had been the victim of violence. In fact, she talked with us about it just a month ago.
On September 18, 2023, a mother discovered her 30-year-old daughter dead in the parking garage at the 7,800 block of South Indiana Avenue. The deceased was Sierra Jameson, a mother to a 6-year-old boy who had survived an attack weeks before her final death. Sierra was in a relationship with a 63-year-old sugar daddy. After 1 month of dating, the sugar daddy tracked her down and ended her life. A 63-year-old was arrested later and asked to confess. The reason he killed this innocent mother is very shocking. This is the heartbreaking story of Sierra Jameson. Before we begin, we would love to extend our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Sierra Jameson, as well as everyone affected by the tragic event. For you to better understand the people in this story, let me share their backgrounds from Chicago, Illinois. Chicago's crime rate has improved, with homicides dropping 15% in 2024 to 617, yet it remains the U.S. murder capital for the 12th year. Violent crime rates still surpass the national average, shaping public safety concerns and even impacting the city's luxury real estate market. It is in this city that we find Sierra Jameson. She was a hardworking, ambitious woman who dedicated her life to her family and career. After completing her education, Sierra pursued a career as a phlebotomist, a role that showcased her commitment to helping others, and a role that didn't come easily. She was also preparing to advance her career by enrolling in nursing school, reflecting her determination to provide a better future for herself. However, there was a part of Sierra's life that she held most special to her, further fueling her desire and determination. Sierra was a devoted mother to her 6-year-old son, but there was something significant about her son that fueled her desire even more. It was the fact that he faced significant health challenges from an early age. Her son was diagnosed with autism and had undergone open-heart surgery. Despite these challenges, Sierra worked tirelessly to ensure he received the care and love he needed. She lived with her mother and 2 younger sisters in the Park Manor neighborhood of Chicago, creating a nurturing environment for her family. Sierra's daily routine revolved around her family. After work, she would come home, spend quality time with her loved ones, and shower her son with affection. She had big dreams for the future, including hosting large family gatherings like Christmas breakfasts and dinners. In fact, she was about to celebrate one historic milestone with her family. Sierra Jameson had just celebrated her 30th birthday, a milestone filled with joy, hope, and dreams of a brighter future.
Say hello. What? Where you at, Coco?
Her family cherished the occasion as a reflection of her ambitions and the love she poured into her life. Surrounded by her closest loved ones, her mother and her 6-year-old son, Sierra beamed with pride, not only for her achievements, but for the life she was building for them both. But her life was getting even better and better. As a dedicated phlebotomist, preparing to start nursing school, Sierra was determined to elevate her career and provide a stable, promising future for her family. The day was especially meaningful as she embraced the new opportunities on her horizon. Just weeks before her birthday, Sierra had gifted herself a Jeep Wrangler, a symbol of her relentless determination and hard work. She spoke with pride about the sacrifices she had made, particularly for her young son, who had already braved significant challenges, including open-heart surgery. It was a moment of triumph for Sierra, a woman who had overcome so much and was ready to step into a new chapter of her life.
Wrangler, that was something for a gift for myself, because I know how hard I worked for it. I know how many sacrifices I've done for my family, my son, because he's been through a lot. My son had open heart surgery. He has a disability, so he means a lot to me.
Her family described her as independent and goal-oriented, always striving to achieve more while keeping her family at the center of her life. However, Sierra's first real fight for her life came in 2022. Sierra Jameson experienced a traumatic attempted carjacking while filling up her gas tank. A man approached her with a kitchen knife and demanded her keys, threatening her with violence. However, Jameson's quick thinking and determination to fight back played a crucial role in her survival. She observed that the attacker seemed nervous and flinching, which gave her the confidence to resist. However, this didn't come easily, and not without help. At the gas station, 2 other women came to her aid. Jameson asked one of them for a bat that was in her trunk. Armed with the bat, she confronted the attacker, who then fled the scene.
We really got some women that's out here that go stand their ground and fight. Cause it was the young lady that was in front of me and the lady that was at the pump one. They helped me. I wasn't just by myself. They literally stepped in and helped me. It was a lot of black empowerment, women empowerment that day. Cause they could have left. They could have just mind their business, but they know. They stood right there and they helped me, and I'm blessed. I'm grateful. I went home to my son. I thank God every day that I'm here, because it could have went a different way.
The police later apprehended him, and he was convicted of attempted aggravated vehicular hijacking, receiving a 4-year prison sentence. This incident was about to bring out another part of Sierra. Her experience led her to speak out publicly about violence against black women in a local news interview just weeks before her tragic death. She wanted to raise awareness about the fears and challenges faced by black women in today's society.
My thoughts on that, it's like, I don't know why a lot of people want to target young women. I guess because we women and they don't think that we're easy to target. I guess that's the situation. I guess that's the issue, because we'll probably be more vulnerable to give up and let go or whatever the case may be.
What Sierra didn't know was that no amount of advocacy or strength was going to save her from the danger coming her way. It is at this point that we introduce a key figure of her life and of this story, Lawrence Boyle. For nearly a decade, he and Sierra shared a bond many would envy, a friendship built on trust, loyalty, and, at least publicly, their connection seemed unshakable, the kind of friendship people admire and wish to emulate. But behind the curtains, something began to stir in Lawrence. By August 2023, Lawrence decided it was time to take a leap. Ignoring any doubts or hesitations, he proposed a romantic relationship to Sierra. To her, it seemed harmless. Why not explore a future with someone who already knew her inside and out? Who better to build a life with than a trusted friend? Or so she thought. What she didn't know was that this relationship would be the start of the problems in her life, one which would ultimately lead to her demise. Lawrence's past was riddled with violent behavior, a history that cast a long, dark shadow. In 2011, he was charged with domestic violence and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, though the case was dropped just a month later. These haunting details from Lawrence's past would soon catch up to Sierra. Yet, despite the warnings hidden in his history, they became a couple and started spending more time together, unaware of the danger about to happen. While most relationships begin on a high note before cracks appear over time, Sierra and Lawrence's relationship was an exception. From the start, their dynamic veered off course. Lawrence quickly revealed himself to be a possessive partner, so overbearing that it became painfully clear why their bond had stayed platonic for so many years, and why it should have stayed that way but not long enough. Sierra discovered she'd had enough and decided to part ways romantically with Lawrence. This move was about to cost her dearly. A decade of friendship unraveled in just 4 weeks of a doomed relationship. For Lawrence, the abrupt ending was unbearable, a wound he couldn't let heal. Desperation consumed him as he sought relief from the torment, but the solace he craved would come at an unthinkable price. On the evening of September 18, 2023, Sierra Jameson returned to her home in the Park Manor neighborhood of Chicago after a typical day. As she pulled into her garage on South Indiana Avenue, she was unaware that her estranged boyfriend Lawrence was lying in wait with malicious intent. That night, Lawrence ambushed Sierra in her garage. According to prosecutors, he initially feared she might be armed, but when he realized she wasn't, he attacked her. He strangled her with his hands until she went limp. Even after she lost consciousness, he continued choking her until he was certain she was dead. After the attack, Lawrence took Sierra's cell phone and concealed her lifeless body under a tarp in the garage. And to make the tarp take much secret, she had scarfed the tarp in the garage. Lawrence then left the scene and attempted to cover his tracks. Witnesses later reported seeing him exit the garage shortly after the attack. When confronted by Sierra's brother about her whereabouts, Lawrence lied, claiming that Sierra had thrown her phone at him and left for the store. This deceit delayed immediate concern for Sierra's safety. Later that evening, Sierra's mother became worried after failing to hear from her daughter. She went to check the garage and made the devastating discovery. Sierra's body was hidden under a tarp.
Well, Dina and Ryan, family reporting this morning that this woman had just celebrated her 30th birthday just days ago, and it was her own mother who first discovered her body near her home on Monday.
63-year-old Lawrence Boyle strangled 30-year-old Sierra Jameson on Monday. Jameson had gone to her garage to park her Jeep on the 7800 block of South Indiana. Prosecutors say Boyle was waiting inside. At first, the machine worker at a cup manufacturing plant said he thought Jameson had a gun. But when he realized she didn't, he continued to strangle her until she went limp. He took her cell phone, then covered her body with a green tarp.
In the hours following the discovery of Sierra's body, Lawrence called his ex-wife and confessed to strangling her. This admission was crucial as it demonstrated his acknowledgement of guilt. But Lawrence went the extra mile in proving he actually was feeling guilty for what he did. On September 20, 2023, just 2 days after Sierra's murder, Lawrence turned himself in to authorities. He arrived at the police station and was arrested without incident. Lawrence faced charges of first-degree murder, and as details of his violent history emerged, including prior convictions for domestic violence and child abuse, his case drew significant media attention. The court ordered him detained without bail due to the severity of the crime and the threat he posed to the community.
The prosecutors say she was killed by someone she knew well. The accused killer was in court today, so was our Suzanne Lemignot, and she's learning more about his violent past.
She wanted to be able to say, let me tell people what it's like to be a black woman today, and fearful so many times. And again, you know, you're talking about a story where you're talking about somebody who is a victim of crime, and then something like this happens. If this is not the ultimate of what we're talking about, and the importance of us doing the story to talk about what happens to black women, you know, this is it. This is the example.
And now this young boy without his mother.
The court proceedings for Lawrence, charged with the first-degree murder of Sierra Jameson, began shortly after his arrest on September 20, 2023. Lawrence's initial court appearance took place on September 22, where prosecutors detailed the circumstances surrounding the murder. During the hearing, Assistant State's Attorney Ann McCord presented a harrowing account of the events leading to Sierra's death. Prosecutors highlighted that Lawrence had a history of violence, including past charges of domestic violence and child abuse. They noted that he had previously been arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in 2011, although that case was dropped shortly thereafter. Additionally, records revealed that he had served time for child abuse and breaking and entering in North Carolina. Lawrence's demeanor in court was described as relaxed. He appeared at ease. Despite the gravity of the charges against him, he rocked in his chair as details of the crime were recounted. The judge, Susana L. Ortiz, ordered Lawrence to be detained without bail, stating that there was absolutely no evidence to support any claims of self-defense that his attorney suggested might arise in future proceedings. The prosecution argued against any self-defense claims by emphasizing the brutality of the attack and the fact that Sierra was not armed. They pointed out the physical evidence found on Sierra's body, including marks on her neck consistent with strangulation. Following this initial hearing, Lawrence was scheduled to return to court for further proceedings. The case garnered significant media attention due to its tragic nature and the broader implications regarding domestic violence and women's safety. Sierra Jameson's family and community mourned her loss deeply, advocating for justice as they navigated their grief over her untimely death. The court proceedings continued to unfold in the months following the initial hearings, reflecting the ongoing struggle for accountability in cases of domestic violence. However, the question of motive still lingered in the mind of many who wanted to know why a relationship which was supposed to be one of the best, owing to the fact that they were longtime friends before even thinking about a relationship, while the first answer on the lips of many still was the fact that he got rejected, which was not entirely wrong. It is safe to say that it was an accumulation of many factors. Lawrence Boyle's history of violence revealed a troubling pattern of aggression marked by multiple convictions for domestic violence and child abuse. His inability to manage emotional conflict or cope with rejection in constructive ways often led to destructive outcomes. These behaviors weren't isolated incidents, but rather recurring signs of deeply rooted issues that eventually culminated in the senseless act of violence against Sierra Jameson, a woman he once considered a friend. Sierra's tragic death highlights the insidious nature of domestic violence, which can stem from unresolved personal turmoil and escalate into devastating consequences. Her story serves as a powerful reminder of the urgent need to address these patterns and provide support systems to prevent such tragedies from taking more lives. The community's reaction to the tragic murder of Sierra Jameson was one of shock and grief. Family members expressed their devastation over the loss of a young woman who was not only a dedicated mother, but also an ambitious individual preparing to start nursing school. Sierra's aunt, Carmela Williams, highlighted the impact of the murder, stating that Lawrence didn't take the rejection he got from Sierra as a man and escalated it more than he should.
So I guess he just couldn't take the rejection, so I guess he just took it out in a way he shouldn't have took it out as a man.
This sentiment resonated with many in the community who recognized the broader implications of violence against women. In the wake of Sierra's death, her family organized memorial events to honor her memory. One such event included a balloon release held at 6:30 p.m. on September 20, 2023 in the 4500 block of West Jackson Boulevard. This gathering served as an important moment for family and friends to come together, share their memories of Sierra, and express their sorrow over her untimely passing.
This was someone that she was comfortable around. This is someone that she trusted. So she had no reason to fear.
Sierra's funeral was a deeply emotional occasion, attended by family, friends, and community members. It provided an opportunity for those who knew her to reflect on her life and the dreams she had for herself and her son. As they mourned her loss, many individuals also used the occasion to advocate for awareness around domestic violence and the need for support systems for women facing similar threats. The community's response was not only about mourning Sierra, but also about calling for justice and raising awareness about the dangers many women encounter in their relationships. Her story became a rallying point for discussions on domestic violence, particularly among Black women, emphasizing the urgent need for societal change and support for victims. The collective grief transformed into advocacy, as Sierra's family and supporters sought to ensure that her legacy would inspire action against violence in their community. After Sierra's murder, her family expressed their commitment to ensuring her son's well-being. They organized community support efforts, including a GoFundMe campaign aimed at providing financial assistance for his future needs. This initiative reflected the community's desire to help support the child who lost his mother in such a tragic manner. Sierra's family and friends continued to advocate for justice while also working to create a stable and supportive environment for her son. The emotional impact of losing his mother at such a young age would undoubtedly be profound, and the family aimed to honor Sierra's legacy by caring for him and ensuring he received the love and support he needed during this difficult time. As the legal proceedings against Lawrence Boyle progressed, the focus remained on both seeking justice for Sierra and providing a nurturing environment for her son as he navigated life without his mother. The tragic case of Sierra and her murder by Lawrence highlights important lessons about domestic violence and the need for community action. Recognizing red flags, such as possessiveness and aggression, is essential, as Lawrence's violent reaction to rejection shows how unresolved emotional instability can escalate into tragedy. Prevention requires education, early intervention, and support systems. Teaching healthy relationship skills and providing resources like counseling and legal aid are crucial steps. Communities must create safe spaces for survivors, challenge norms that excuse violence, and advocate for stronger policies. Sierra's story serves as a powerful reminder of the urgency to address domestic violence and foster a culture of safety and accountability to prevent future tragedies. Given that Lawrence Boyle and Sierra Jameson had known each other for nearly a decade before their brief romantic relationship turned deadly, what specific lessons can we draw about the failures in recognizing and addressing the signs of potential violence in long-standing relationships? And how can we better equip individuals and communities to prevent such tragedies from occurring? If long-standing friendships before relationships don't guarantee a successful relationship, then what does? Here are some other shocking stories we've covered on this channel, and they're even more disturbing than what you just watched. I hope you learned something from them. See you in the next one.